Every significant creation, every groundbreaking invention, every brilliant idea, where does it truly begin? Think about it. That towering skyscraper reaching for the clouds, the smartphone in your hand connecting you to the world, the revolutionary medical treatment saving countless lives. Each one started as a flicker, a whisper maybe, a vision in someone's mind. Before the first blueprint was meticulously drawn, before a single line of code was written, before, the countless hours of research, there was an intangible thought. Just a pure, unadulterated mental image. These monumental achievements, from the deeply personal goal you strive for to the globally impactful innovations that reshape our world, were once just that. Abstract concepts, living only in the imagination. So this leads us to the central question. Are you actively and consciously using this incredible faculty of your mind to construct your ideal future? Or is it perhaps running on autopilot? Maybe passively consumed by anxieties, doubts, and, self-imposed limitations. Today, we're taking it deep into something Napoleon Hill, in Chapter 5 of his transformative work, Think and Grow Rich, calls Imagination, the Workshop of the Mind. Our mission for you, our listener, is really to cut through the noise and show you why Hill's approach to imagination isn't just for historical figures or abstract thinkers. We think it's the missing link for tangible wealth creation and unlocking any goal, especially in today's fast-paced, complex world. We're not just defining imagination here, we're hoping to reveal its operating manual for real-world impact. And our insights today come directly from the foundational principles laid out in this truly transformative chapter.
Absolutely. And it's so critical to frame this not as some, esoteric dream big concept. Hill saw it as a fundamental, almost engineering principle for transformation. It's like the initial blueprint phase for anything you want to build, be it a business empire or maybe a healthier lifestyle or a new career path. The profound insight here is how often we skip this crucial step, right? Dismissing it as mere daydreaming when it's in fact the very foundation of manifest action. So for those of you tuning in, this isn't just about abstract philosophical thinking, not at all. It's about practical, actionable application for whatever wealth means to you. Could be financial abundance, sure, but also personal fulfillment, professional success, or, a unique blend of all three. Hill's perspective really forces us to reconsider the very starting point of our aspirations. It challenges us to take control of that genesis.
Okay, let's unpack this powerful idea right from the top, because Hill makes a truly bold proclamation. It's one that can be genuinely liberating once you grasp its full implication. He states, man's only limitation within reason lies in the development and use of his imagination. That's a profound assertion, isn't it?
It really is.
It completely shifts the focus away from external barriers, from circumstances, from what's out there, and places it squarely within our own minds, within our own control. When he says man's only limitation, he's explicitly not talking about physical constraints like, the fundamental laws of physics or gravity. You can just imagine yourself flying.
Right, exactly.
He's talking about the seemingly boundless potential that exists within the human mind itself. It suggests that the real barriers we face, the ones that consistently hold us back from our biggest goals and our wildest dreams, are often self-imposed limitations. They're born from a lack of imaginative scope, maybe from a failure to truly stretch our mental muscles, or perhaps from an inability to properly wield this incredibly powerful internal tool. It's really about challenging our own mental programming.
And that phrase, within reason, is absolutely critical to understanding Hill's philosophy. He's very clear on that. Like you said, he isn't suggesting that through pure imagination you can defy physical laws or suddenly gain the ability to fly simply by wishing it, or, conjure $1 million into your bank account without any effort whatsoever. That's not it. What he means is that the boundaries we set for what we personally believe is possible for us to achieve, those are largely self-constructed.
Okay.
And this raises an important question for you, the listener. How often do we unconsciously limit ourselves based on what we think is possible, maybe from past experiences or perceived failures, or even just societal expectations, rather than truly exploring what is genuinely possible through creative, unconstrained thought?
That's a deep question.
It compels us to examine our mental blueprints for life and question their rigidity.
Yeah, that emphasis on within reason is key. It grounds the seemingly limitless power of imagination in practical application.
Yeah.
So if imagination isn't about defying physics, but about reshaping our perceived limits, how does Hill see it as the absolute starting point, the genesis for every single breakthrough? Well, he reinforces this core idea that every great achievement, every significant breakthrough, every single step forward in human progress truly begins with a creative idea. Before the blueprint is drawn, before the action plan is meticulously crafted, before a single physical step is taken, there is always that initial spark, that first flash of imagination. It's the genesis point, isn't it?
Yeah, the primordial soup, you could say.
Exactly, where everything else emerges from. Picture that towering skyscraper again, or that groundbreaking software application.
Yeah.
Before a single brick was laid or a line of code written, there was that architect's bold imaginative rendering, or the programmer's creative vision of solving a problem, creating a new user experience. Before a single note was played, a composer envisioned an entire symphony, a cascade of sounds. It all starts there.
In the mind's eye.
In the mind's eye. And it's not just for the grand sweeping gestures either. Even the smallest improvement in your daily routine, the clever solution to a household problem or a new way to approach a conversation, it all starts with an imagined possibility.
And what's fascinating here is how Hill positions imagination. It's not a secondary step. It's not something you get to after you've done some preliminary research or planning. No, he calls it the primary driver, the very first non-negotiable step in the creative process.
The first step. Wow.
Yeah, think of it as a creative laboratory where your deepest desires combine with all the specialized knowledge you've gathered. Hill says your brain isn't just storing information, it's a powerful processor. It takes your burning desire, mixes it with specialized knowledge, the facts, the info, the experiences you've accumulated, and then through the faculty of imagination, it synthesizes all of that into a concrete, actionable idea.
Yeah.
Without that imaginative spark, those ingredients just sit there, inert, unable to combine and transform.
So it's the catalyst.
It's the catalyst for transformation, precisely.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because Hill presents us with a critical dilemma. Almost a stark warning, actually, about the active nature of imagination. He says that if you don't actively and consciously direct your imagination towards your desired outcomes, toward the future you want to build, it won't just lie dormant, patiently waiting for instructions.
No, it keeps working.
Exactly. Instead, he warns that it will inevitably be utilized, often subconsciously, for fear, for doubt, and for constructing the very limitations that hold you back. It's always on, always building something. Think about your own experience, How often do we find ourselves replaying worst-case scenarios in our minds?
Oh, constant.
Imagining failures that haven't even happened yet, dwelling on anxieties about things that might never come to pass, yet we've built entire detailed narratives around them. That's your imagination at work, right? Operating at full throttle, but in a completely counterproductive way. It's building a future, all right, but it's building a future you actively want to avoid. It's a powerful engine, but it needs conscious steering.
That's exactly the crux of Hill's argument. He would say that we're all constantly using our imagination, absolutely. But the critical distinction is how and for what. Many people are passively allowing it to be shaped by fear, by external circumstances, by the negativity of the news cycle, whatever, rather than actively shaping their future with intention. So the question then becomes incredibly profound for you, the listener. Are you diligently working with conscious effort to create the detailed blueprint for your dream, for your ideal future? Or are you inadvertently constructing, perhaps even perfecting, the detailed blueprint for your excuses, your limitations, your fears?
Oof, that's confronting.
It is. It highlights the immense, often overlooked responsibility we each have over our own mental landscape. Your imagination is always building something. The power lies in consciously choosing what it builds.
It's a continuous act of creation.
Absolutely.
That's a powerful point about conscious choice. And it leads us perfectly into Hill's fascinating classification of imagination itself. To truly master this workshop of the mind, he says, we need to understand its different gears. It's not just one thing. He introduces us to a duality, categorizing imagination into two distinct yet equally powerful types.
Q types.
And it's not about one being inherently better than the other. Not at all. It's rather about understanding their unique applications and how they work together.
Yeah.
Like two sides of the same incredibly potent coin. First, we have synthetic imagination. Now, this type is about the ability to rearrange existing ideas, concepts, or plans into new combinations.
Okay.
Rearranging.
Yeah, think of it not just as rearranging ingredients for a new dish, but maybe like a brilliant engineer using existing components to design a faster engine. or a strategist taking known market trends and combining them to predict an entirely new consumer behavior. It's about taking what's already known, established facts, existing resources, proven methods, and assembling it in a novel way.
A more efficient or effective way, perhaps.
Exactly. It's about optimization, innovating within established frameworks.
Right. And this is the workhorse of imagination for most practical fields, wouldn't you say? It's the foundation of most strategic thinking.
Seems like it.
It's what drives the development of innovative business plans that build on existing market structures. It leads to significant process improvements within organizations that streamline operations or helps in strategic adjustments in response to market shifts. If you connect this to the bigger picture, it's about making the most, and often something entirely new, out of what's already available.
Resourcefulness.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's the imagination that enables clever reconfiguration and finding new efficiencies within existing frameworks. Consider, for instance, how countless apps combine existing tech like GPS, social media, payment systems to create entirely new services. That's pure synthetic imagination at its best.
Hill provides a really clear, relatable example of this. He talks about taking a traditional brick-and-mortar business model, say a physical bookstore or a clothing shop, and ingeniously transforming it into a thriving online version. It's not inventing a whole new type of business from scratch, like inventing the internet itself, obviously.
Right, not reinventing the wheel.
But rather reimagining its operational structure, its delivery mechanism, its customer engagement to fit a new digital context. It's incredibly creative, but it's built on existing elements, reassembled for new effect.
And that's key to its power. This type of imagination is crucial for adaptation and evolution, especially in rapidly changing environments like today's.
Definitely.
It's the practical, problem-solving imagination that allows individuals and organizations to see new patterns in old data or existing resources. It's about spotting opportunities for synergy and improvement where others might only see what already exists or, what's always been done.
Seeing potential?
Exactly. It's about looking at a bicycle and imagining an electric one, or looking at a manual process and seeing how it could be automated. It's about intelligent evolution.
Okay, so that's synthetic. Then we shift gears to creative imagination. Now, this is what many people typically think of when they hear the word imagination. That spark of genius, right? The bolt from the blue.
The aha.
Yeah. It's something more akin to those sudden flashes of inspiration, those unexpected insights, or entirely new ideas that seem to emerge seemingly from nowhere, as if dropped into your mind from, the ether.
Right.
It feels less like building with existing blocks and more like conjuring something entirely novel.
And Hill delves into a deeper concept here. He suggests that creative imagination is the ability to tap into something beyond our immediate conscious thought.
Beyond the conscious.
Yeah, he talks about it as connecting with the subconscious mind, or even, as he suggests, a broader infinite intelligence. Now, for a modern listener, you might think of this as tapping into universal patterns, maybe intuitive leaps, or even the vast collective knowledge and innovation that exists beyond your immediate awareness.
Okay, I can see that.
It's where those genuine aha moments, that truly novel idea that reshapes industries, that completely original artistic expression, truly manifest. It's the source of genuine breakthrough.
And the examples here are distinct from synthetic imagination then. We're talking about the invention of something entirely novel, like a completely new technology that reshapes an industry from the ground up. Maybe something like, penicillin or the first smartphone.
Good examples, big leaps.
Or the spontaneous composition of a beautiful, original piece of music that moves generations. Or a new scientific theory that fundamentally alters our understanding of the universe. These aren't just rearrangements. These are original creations, true leaps forward.
Indeed. And what's fascinating here is that aha moment, the sudden clarity, the intuitive leap that often bypasses logical step-by-step reasoning.
It just appears.
It just appears. And this raises an important question. How do we cultivate an environment, both internally within our minds and externally in our daily lives, where these flashes of creative insight are more likely to occur? This type of imagination often requires periods of deep, focused thought, sure, where you immerse yourself in a problem, but equally, it often blossoms in moments of mental spaciousness, when we allow our minds to wander, to connect seemingly disparate ideas freely, and to disengage from constant active processing.
Like in the shower or on a walk.
Exactly, those classic moments, or just before sleep. Those are prime times for the creative imagination to bubble up.
So to summarize this duality then, both synthetic and creative imagination are described by Hill as incredibly powerful tools, each serving a vital purpose in the pursuit of success.
Right.
One rearranges, optimizes, and evolves what's already there,
It's synthetic.
while the other innovates, sparks newness, and creates truly original concepts.
The creative.
They complement each other, working in tandem in the mind's workshop.
And this is a crucial point that Hill emphasizes, one that underpins the practical, actionable nature of his entire philosophy. Critically, both types of imagination can be consciously developed and strengthened.
So it's not fixed.
Not at all. You don't just passively wait for inspiration to strike, hoping a great idea will fall into your lap, nor are you stuck with only your current ability to rearrange. This shifts the entire paradigm. It's not about being born with a gift. It's about building a skill, a fundamental capacity that everyone possesses and can enhance.
And that's a core liberating idea from Hill's work, isn't it? Imagination is emphatically not presented as some innate gift bestowed upon a lucky few, like a natural talent for singing or drawing that some people just seem to have.
Right.
Instead, it's explicitly stated as a skill, something you can actively train, practice, and significantly improve over time. Just like any other muscle in your body or any other ability you wish to master, whether it's learning a new language or becoming a better athlete.
This really shifts the entire paradigm, doesn't it? It moves us from a place of passive hope, where we might just wish for a good idea to strike.
Fingers crossed.
Exactly. To a place of active development and intentional cultivation. For an audience, maybe you listening right now, often told that genius is innate or that creativity is for other people, this is profoundly empowering.
It really is.
It means everyone, regardless of their perceived creative ability right now, has the capacity to enhance their imaginative prowess. You don't need to wait for inspiration. You can build the conditions for it. You can sculpt the pathway for it.
It's about taking ownership.
Taking ownership of your mental processes.
Yes. So how do we do it? How do we actually get into this workshop of the mind and start truly building, not just hoping? Hill gives us some incredibly practical methods for developing our imagination, turning this abstract concept into a tangible, actionable practice. First up, and this is a big one for Hill, a real cornerstone of his philosophy, daily visualization of your goal. And this isn't just a casual, fleeting thought like, oh, I'd like a new car.
No, it's deeper.
Much deeper. He says you need to dedicate time daily to vividly imagine your desired outcome. Don't just think about it. You need to see it, feel it, experience it with all your senses as if it's already real. Where are you? Who are you with? What does it smell like? What sounds do you hear? What emotions are you feeling?
Make it palpable.
Make it as real as a memory, but project it into the future.
And this isn't merely wishful thinking or some, airy-fairy concept, as some might assume. It's not just the secret light. It's about programming your subconscious mind. Seriously. By consistently feeding it detailed, emotionally charged images of your desired reality, you're creating a powerful mental blueprint. This blueprint then acts like a homing beacon. Your conscious mind and your subsequent actions can then align with and follow this blueprint, almost automatically seeking out opportunities and resources that match the visualized outcome.
So it guides you subconsciously.
In a way, yes. It solidifies abstract desires into concrete, tangible mental images, making them feel more achievable and directing your underlying motivation and focus. It's like installing new software into your operating system.
Okay, that makes sense. Next, he advises us to write down creative ideas without judging them. This sounds simple, but it feels profound and honestly, probably a game changer for many people.
It really can be.
Keep a notebook, a physical one maybe, or a digital capture tool on your phone handy at all times. When ideas, no matter how outlandish, how unformed, or how seemingly silly or irrelevant, pop into your head, write them down immediately. Don't filter, don't pause to critique them, just capture them.
Get it down.
I've learned this the hard way. How many brilliant or maybe hilariously bad ideas have I lost in that half-sleep limbo, convinced I'd remember them in the morning?
Happens to everyone.
And it's usually something profound like, I should really buy more bananas. But no, Hill says write everything down no matter how outlandish.
Exactly. Your brain is a magnificent but sometimes messy idea generator. The moment you start judging those fleeting thoughts, you're essentially turning off the faucet of creativity.
Yeah.
You're shutting it down.
Yeah, that inner critic.
That inner critic is often the biggest barrier. The crucial part here, as you highlighted, is to suspend all criticism and judgment. Often, what initially seems like a bad or impractical idea can actually be a crucial stepping stone, a trigger maybe to a truly brilliant one.
Interesting.
This practice fosters a safe, non-judgmental space for imaginative flow. It prevents that self-censorship that so often stifles our most novel thoughts before they even fully form. It's about letting your mind play without immediate consequence.
Okay, playing without consequence. I like that. Then, Hill pushes us to broaden our horizons, something particularly relevant in our interconnected world today. Read, explore, observe different industries. Cross-pollinate ideas.
Cross-pollinate, good term.
Yeah. This means don't just stay in your own professional or personal lane. Don't just read books or articles directly related to your field. Read widely. Explore diverse fields that seem completely unrelated to your primary interests. I don't know, astrophysics to ancient history, maybe gourmet cooking to quantum mechanics.
Get outside your bubble.
Exactly. Observe how other industries operate, how different problems are solved, what innovations are happening in seemingly disparate areas.
The profound power here lies in what Hill calls cross-pollination. It's about drawing unexpected connections between disparate pieces of knowledge or seemingly unrelated solutions.
Connecting the dots.
Connecting the dots in new ways. A challenge overcome with an elegant solution in one industry, say, logistics might offer an incredibly insightful answer to a problem in another entirely different field, like healthcare or education. It's about expanding your mental database of concepts exponentially, giving your synthetic imagination far more material to rearrange and combine.
More building blocks.
More building blocks, and providing your creative imagination with a wider, richer array of stimuli to spark genuinely new combinations and breakthroughs. It's a way to feed your infinite intelligence by broadening your input.
Another practical method, which ties directly into the challenges we all face daily, is to solve problems creatively instead of reactively. When you're faced with a problem, whether it's a minor annoyance at home or a major professional obstacle, resist the urge to just apply the first, most obvious solution.
The default solution.
The default, or the most traditional solution that comes to mind. Instead, consciously engage your imagination. Force yourself to brainstorm multiple unconventional approaches. Ask yourself, if I couldn't solve this the normal way, what would I do? What would be a ridiculous solution that might actually hint at a brilliant one? Force yourself to think outside the box, even if it feels uncomfortable at first.
Reactive problem solving, which, let's face it, is what most of us default to.
Guilty.
Yeah, me too. It often leads to status quo solutions, merely patching over symptoms or kicking the can down the road. It's about doing what's familiar. Creative problem solving, however, forces you to think outside established patterns, to question assumptions, and to explore entirely new avenues that you might have previously dismissed as unworkable or impossible.
Opens things up.
Totally. This can potentially lead to far more innovative, effective, and sometimes even disruptive answers that create entirely new opportunities. It's an exercise that builds immense mental agility, resilience, and a proactive mindset. It trains your mind to see solutions where others only see obstacles.
And finally, a really simple yet profound exercise, one that truly unlocks imaginative play. Ask, what if? Questions often. Make it a consistent habit to ask, what if? Questions about everything around you. What if I tried this differently? What if this seemingly insurmountable limitation didn't exist? What if I approached this goal from a completely different angle, one I've never considered?
What ifs?
What if this everyday observation, like how a bird builds its nest, could be applied to my biggest business challenge? What if my greatest fear turned out to be my greatest asset? Just what if?
This question, what if, is an incredibly powerful catalyst for imagination. It really is. It instantly opens up a universe of possibilities that were previously invisible.
Yeah.
It challenges your deepest assumptions, it forces your mind to explore alternative realities and scenarios, and it pushes you beyond your current perceived limitations. It's like a key that unlocks the creative workshop of your mind, encouraging it to play, to experiment, and to seek connections and solutions that linear thinking simply cannot perceive.
Breaks the linear pattern.
Exactly. It's the starting point for innovation, for adaptation, and for re-envisioning your entire life. It transforms a fixed reality into a fluid canvas of potential.
And to wrap up this section on cultivation, Hill gives us a truly compelling analogy, one that makes this entire process incredibly relatable. He says, just like a muscle in your body, the more consistently you exercise and use your imagination by practicing these methods we've just discussed, the stronger it gets, more flexible, and ultimately the more effective it becomes. It's not about waiting for lightning to strike or for some elusive muse to visit you.
It's about doing the work.
It's about building the conductor, so when lightning does strike, you're ready.
That analogy provides such a clear, actionable framework for anyone listening. Imagination isn't about being struck by genius. It's about actively building the conductor, consistently putting in the reps, consistently engaging in these practices. It means intentionally feeding and exercising that mental muscle so that when a challenge or opportunity arises, your imagination is primed, agile, and ready to deliver.
Ready to go.
Ready to deliver innovative solutions, original ideas, and vivid blueprints for your success. It means becoming a master builder of your own reality, starting with your mind.
And Hill provides some fantastic illustrative examples of this imagination in action, doesn't he? Showing how this isn't just abstract theory from an old book.
Oh yeah, he brings it to life.
He vividly describes entrepreneurs who weren't necessarily the most formally educated individuals, not always the ones with fancy degrees.
They're the most privileged backgrounds, yeah.
Exactly. Nor the most financially privileged or born into great wealth. Instead, these individuals possessed a remarkable, almost uncanny ability to take an idea, sometimes a simple one, sometimes a grand, audacious one, nurture it with their imagination.
That nurturing part is key.
And then relentlessly transform that imaginative spark into tangible, real-world wealth.
What's fascinating here is how Hill's examples consistently underscore that the application of ideas fueled by a powerful and directed imagination is often far more critical to success than the sheer volume of facts or theoretical knowledge one possesses.
Knowing isn't enough.
Knowing isn't enough. He really emphasizes the process of translating the intangible, a fleeting thought, a bold vision, into the very material reality of thriving businesses, groundbreaking products, and significant financial success. It's about seeing possibility where others see nothing, and then having the imaginative courage to make that possibility real.
Imaginative courage, I like that.
It challenges the traditional notion that only formal qualifications guarantee success, doesn't it?
He also makes a particularly intriguing observation, and one that still feels relevant today, about how individuals with what he terms average education, but possessing extraordinary vision and imagination, frequently outperform those with extensive formal education, even those with multiple degrees from elite institutions. That really challenges a common assumption about what truly leads to success and wealth, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's not just about what you know, but maybe what you imagine doing with that knowledge.
It absolutely does challenge that assumption. And it's important to clarify here. This isn't a dismissal of education itself. Education is undoubtedly valuable. It's foundational.
Of course.
Instead, it's a powerful statement about its limitations if it's not coupled with imaginative application. Hill suggests that facts alone, raw data, theoretical knowledge, they do not, in and of themselves, create wealth or breakthrough innovations. They are the ingredients.
Right, the raw materials.
Exactly. It's what you do with those facts, how you imagine their rearrangement, how you envision their potential, how you apply them in novel and creative ways that truly matters. You know, a person might know every single fact about a car engine, but it takes imagination to design a better one. So this raises an important question for you, our listener, to consider in your own life and work. Are you relying solely on what you already know, on the accumulated facts and experiences you've gathered? Or are you actively engaging and cultivating your imaginative capacity to find new uses for that knowledge, to see connections, and to create something genuinely novel and impactful? It encourages us to trust our own innate imaginative capacity, recognizing it as a key driver of success, sometimes even more so than accumulated knowledge alone.
It's about combining knowledge with that creative foresight.
Precisely.
Okay, let's try and bring it all together then. Distill the essence of imagination's power from this deep dive. First and foremost, imagination is presented by Hill as the singular foundational creative force behind all success. Full stop.
The starting point.
The starting point, the spark from which everything else ignites. It's also the essential bridge, the thing that converts a mere desire, that vague yearning for something more, that quiet aspiration, into a concrete, vivid idea, a clear mental picture you can hold on to.
Desire into idea.
Desire into idea. And that idea, that solidified vision in turn, is the catalyst that propels you into decisive, purposeful action. Without that imaginative bridge, desire just remains formless, right? Often just a fleeting wish.
Yeah, it just floats away.
And we've explored the two distinct but complementary types of this powerful mental faculty. Synthetic imagination, which is phenomenal for planning, for rearranging existing elements, for optimizing what's already there, and for evolving current systems. The workhorse.
Workhorse.
And then creative imagination, which is the profound source of true innovation, those sudden flashes of insight, and entirely new concepts that leap into existence. The breakthrough engine.
Breakthroughs, exactly.
Both are vital, both are powerful, And perhaps the most crucial message for you to take away today, the one that should truly empower you, is that imagination is not a fixed trait you either have or don't.
So important.
It is emphatically a muscle, a skill, a capacity, and it can be consistently developed and strengthened through deliberate conscious practice. Using the very methods we've just outlined, you are the architect of your own mental workshop. You can build it up.
And this leads to a truly profound concluding thought from Hill's chapter, something that can completely reframe how you approach your own aspirations and challenges. He says, everything you want already exists as an idea.
Wow. Okay, let that sink in for a moment. It's a statement that implies a vast, unseen realm of potential. This isn't about conjuring something from absolute nothingness like magic,
Right.
but rather about tuning into and unlocking existing possibilities. Hill suggests that the universe of ideas is vast, boundless, and accessible. It's a boundless reservoir of potential solutions, innovations, and realities. Our challenge, is to use our trained, disciplined imagination to perceive those ideas, to grasp them, to nurture them, and ultimately to manifest them into our physical reality.
So the ideas are already out there.
In a sense, yes. It implies that the raw material for your wildest dreams is already present in some energetic or conceptual realm. Your imagination is simply the key, the unique mental frequency that unlocks it and brings it into your tangible experience.
So given everything we've explored today about imagination as the workshop of the mind and the profound power of that what-if question, I want you to ask yourself, what's one idea that has been lingering in your mind for far too long? Perhaps it's a business venture, a personal transformation, a creative project, or even just a solution to a nagging problem.
Something you keep pushing down.
Yeah, has it perhaps been dismissed as a mere fantasy, an impossibility, a whisper you didn't dare to fully explore?
And how might you begin to apply the principles we've discussed today, daily visualization of that specific outcome, writing down those creative ideas about it without judgment, asking what-if questions to unlock its potential? How could you apply those to that very idea, starting today?
Making it real.
Yeah, this is about translating passive understanding into active engagement, taking that first vital step in the workshop of your mind.
And once you have that vivid idea, that powerful image forged and refined in the workshop of your mind, the question then becomes, how do you take that imaginative spark, that clear mental blueprint, and translate it into a tangible step-by-step strategy for bringing it to life?
The next logical step.
How do you move from the what if to the disciplined this is how?
This raises an important question for you to mull over as we conclude today. What is the disciplined, organized process that converts an imaginative vision into a solid, actionable plan? It's where dreams begin their disciplined journey to becoming concrete, undeniable realities, where the invisible starts to become visible.
If this audiobook inspired you, imagine what the next one will do. Subscribe now and turn your time into transformation, one audiobook at a time. Hit the bell so you never miss the words that could change your world.